Good morning, Jaw, and good morning, Days with Jordan the Lion. Well, you can tell he's feisty this morning already. I got all this crap out that I'm going to put on my wrists, and we're going to head to the dog park early. Now, okay, I showed you guys my new watch. Here's my only complaint about it, and I'm sure you have heard it, but you don't know that's what it is. Occasionally you'll hear a beep. This thing goes off every hour. It does like a one decibel beep or whatever, like one beep every hour. And if I don't pay attention to what hour it is, and I'm filming something, you hear that beep. So I'm gonna try it again today, see if I can kind of train myself to take care of that, and we'll see how it goes. The rest of this stuff, the usual culprits. This guy, usual culprit. The awesome shoes for today, some Chris Paul Air Jordans. And somebody's looking for trouble. Are you looking for trouble? You are looking for trouble, aren't you? I can see your tail. Troublemaker. Troublemaker. That's the face of trouble right there. All sorts of action out here today. Dump trucks. I saw a city utility vehicle pulling telephone poles out of the ground, and they had a gigantic drill and they were putting new ones in. Oh yeah, hopping on a Tuesday. Five-way stop. That's when you know it's a big neighborhood. My theory is that Jaw has trained himself to know all these twists and turns. He knows where he's going. So he actually chills out when we're on this ride, whereas I talk to other people and they go, oh, my dog freaks out. The whole time we're driving there, they just are going nuts. He's pretty cool. Alright, we're here at the dog park. I'm just chilling out. I think I know what I want to do today. I think I'm going to go up to Forest Lawn Cemetery in Glendale, because in like the main cathedral or the main mausoleum or whatever, they have this really cool biblical stained glass presentation of the Last Supper. Like, wow, that's amazing just to watch the way they do it and everything. I'm going to see if I can go in and film it. Right around, literally in the same building, right on the other side of the wall from this, is where Clark Gable's buried. Down the hall from him is Michael Jackson. You ready for the ball? You want it? It's actually a pretty nice day out here today. I'm really surprised. This is the kind of day you would expect there to be just a million dogs, and there's none here. Like, even the ones that are here are getting ready to leave, so. You can see from here our destination. We're almost there. The first stop that I always make when I come to Forest Lawn Cemetery, and it always takes me a while to find it because his grave is at the top of this hill, but it's angled in a different direction, so I always end up like walking past it. But other than Francis X. Bushman, who's also buried here, and I'm gonna put him on here, is my other favorite silent movie star of all time is a man named John Gilbert. And John Gilbert was, if Francis X. Bushman was the Arnold Schwarzenegger of the day, John Gilbert was more like the Johnny Depp of the day. And John Gilbert ended up having his career ruined by the studio head, and he systematically drank himself to death. But I've read the book his daughter wrote, and I'll actually show you something kind of cool I have. I liked his book, well, the book that his daughter wrote, so much. I told a girlfriend of mine years ago, and she wanted to borrow the book so that she could read it to see what I liked about him. And she ended up finding his daughter who wrote the book, mailed her the book, and his daughter wrote me a really nice message inside my book, and I'll show you guys that. When he died, he was kind of He was known as a tale of woe, a long forgotten man. You know, unfortunately, It was one of those things where, as basically what happened was, when silent movies became talkies, he had a great voice, and Louis B. Mayer hated John Gilbert for many reasons and took that as an opportunity to have the sound mixer mix the sound in his first talking picture to make him sound like he had an effeminate voice, and it pretty much ruined his career. Now, like I said, I'm kind of lost, but I know he's got a weird, he's out in the middle of nowhere. Oh, there he is. I think that's him right there. There it is. And his girlfriend at the time of his death was Marlene Dietrich. And Marlene Dietrich is responsible for giving him this beautiful burial spot. So that's John Gilbert. I'll probably do a little bit of a vlog on John Gilbert at some point. I'll reread the book. But I can't really go to his house, because the house that he lived in, I think Elton John was one of the later owners, and either had it completely demolished and built a new place on the property, or someone did. But last time I went up there just to look at it, it was on top of a hill, and all you could see from the street was like the driveway going up. You couldn't see anything. I've always felt a really special kinship to John Gilbert ever since I read his book, and I'm sure I'm one of the few people that comes out here and pays homage to him, but you should check out his work. He was Greta Garbo's, he was basically the guy who helped make Garbo a star. They were lovers, and they starred in a lot of movies together, especially they were famously known for Flesh and the Devil. And he loaned her money when she didn't have any money, and she paid it back and never forgot, and they were lifelong friends. Here's my signed picture of John Gilbert that I acquired about, probably 12 years ago. And this is the book that I mentioned. It's called Dark Star. It's about John Gilbert, written by his daughter, Latrice Gilbert Fountain, and one of my ex-girlfriends found her on Facebook, actually. I think Latrice at that time was in her 80s. And she sent her... Actually, what she did was, my copy of the book was one that I had purchased off a library. So it was like a library copy. It had, the card slot and everything in it in the back. She mailed that to Latrice, and Latrice actually sent her back one of her copies for me. And this was my birthday present, or my Christmas present one year. The girlfriend, that was what she got me for my Christmas present. There's a ton of people buried here, more than I could ever put into one vlog, but I'm going to hit a few of my favorites. Primarily, probably, I have 5 favorite male actors that I consider, of all time. William Powell, Vincent Price, Clark Gable, John Gilbert, and Francis X. Bushman. Francis X. Bushman, John Gilbert, and Clark Gable are all buried here. Vincent Price was cremated and scattered at sea, and William Powell's buried in Riverside, I believe, out near the Palm Springs. So when I go do Palm Springs and do his house, maybe I'll go and visit his grave at that point too. One thing I just thought of that I want to also include in this, because I can't get into it, but they have a little bit of a memorial right outside of where Michael Jackson's buried, so I'm going to show you that. This is the Great Mausoleum. This is where a majority of the most famous people, or the most private people, were buried in Forest Lawn. Elizabeth Taylor's buried here, W.C. Fields, Carole Lombard, Clark Gable, Jean Harlow, just about everybody. So like I said, one of the first things I want to do is I want to go to show you where they have allowed people to have a little bit of a memorial to Michael Jackson. He has a security guard, so you're not allowed to actually see his grave. So everybody kind of figured out where it was. And on the opposite side of the wall, where you can get to, they've made a little memorial to him. That's the front of the mausoleum. I'm still walking around it. I'm still trying to get to Michael Jackson's part. It's a big place. Thing is that I just walked all the way around the building. It's like 2 buildings with a little well, you can see. It's got that little bridged over area right there. I walked this direction, all the way around the building, when I should have walked this direction. It's right here. See this second window? Kind of in the corner here. He's buried on the other side of that wall. And all his memorial and everything is right up here. It looks like there's somebody else up here paying their respects as well. Kind of would have thought there'd be more here. I mean, I know at different times I'm sure they clean it off a lot, but it's actually right here. Right on the other side of that wall. There's actually there's notes and little messages everywhere. You can see. They've just got stuff everywhere. There's a little picture here. And if they let people in, this would be the way you enter. Like I said, unfortunately, you just can't go in. So this is where Michael Jackson's buried.
When they had gathered in the house with the upper room, Jesus said to his disciples, "Verily I say unto you, one of you shall betray me." And they began to be sorrowful, and to say unto him one by one, "Is it I?" And he answered, "It is one of the 12. The moment of that terrible prophecy is here portrayed for each of us to see and to ponder. We find each disciple reacting to his personal nature. At the end of the table to your left, Bartholomew, also called Nathanael, springs to his feet in sorrow to ask fearfully, "Is it I, Lord?" "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. If ye love me, keep my commandments."
Well, here he is. Clark Gable. Wow. Right next to him was his wife, Carol Lombard. And next to her was her mother, who died in a plane crash with her, coming back from selling war bonds. And Clark pretty much wanted to die after that. And here's Elizabeth Taylor's grave, right in the entrance of the mausoleum. Well, I got as much as I could of the Last Supper, but here's what happened. Last time I was here, they had a thing where the curtain closed, and then they had a light come up behind it, and everything would glow, and it was in the dark, and it was just phenomenal. And none of that happened this time. So when I left, I asked the security guard. She said, "Oh, this is just my second day here, but they told me if anybody asked." She said, "Was there a curtain before when you were here?" And I said, "Yep." And she goes, "Yeah, they got rid of all that. They don't do that anymore, so sorry." But we still got into Clark Gable. There's, like I said, there's just so many people here, buried here, that I couldn't cover them all. But as I was walking to the Freedom Mausoleum to get Francis X. Bushman some love today, I walked past this and I thought I'd put it on here for my grandpa. He's a baseball fan. Casey Stengel. Read that quote. "Comes a time in every man's life, and I've had plenty of them." We're gonna walk all the way down here because that mausoleum is where Francis X. Bushman is interred. I believe Nat King Cole's there. I think Larry Fine is there. The Larry Fine from the Three Stooges. Show respect. My natural interest in stuff like this could just keep me here all day. I mean, from all the times I've been here and everything I've looked up, it seems like pretty much Anybody that was notorious for anything is either buried up here, like Spencer Tracy's buried up here, George and Gracie Allen are buried up here somewhere, probably over in here. I forget which one, but I know it's one of these little cubbyhole ones. And or they're buried where Clark Gable, where we just were, which is called like the Great Mausoleum. So the Freedom Mausoleum and the Great Mausoleum. John Gilbert's not on either one. He's on the hill when you first drive in, if you want to come visit him. Here's a memorial to the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Now let's go see Francis X. Bushman, the king of the movies. Because now, you guys know all about him after my vlog the other day. Great statue for George Washington. Here's a little known fact some of you might find entertaining. When I was in 5th grade, I ended up playing George Washington in the school play. And it was a musical, and I remember the headline that they have up here about George Washington was in the song, and that's kind of what reminded me that I was in that. I totally forgot, to be honest. Here it is. I was walking around, I kept hearing music, and it's right here. There's a little speaker, and there's a little bird sitting on the speaker. Right here next to this mausoleum. Heard more music playing, so I wanted to walk back here and see what was going on. And I stumbled into this. Can you see this grave? It's the Disney kids. Walter Disney, Lillian Disney, Robert Brown. And right here, which is why I stopped, was I saw this. Saw this little statue here of Mickey, or this little statue here with Mickey. There's Nat King Cole. There we have a John Fine, a Mabel Fine, and a Larry Fine. Easily the most misunderstood stooge of them all. There he is. The great one, the king of the movies. And we're out of here. Do these glasses make me look like Harold Lloyd? Check out what they do. Nerd. One thing I didn't want to forget to mention was that Roddy Piper's daughter and son wrote an everything biography about his life, and it came out today, so please go buy it. Look for the new Roddy Piper book. It's by Ariel Toombs and Colt Toombs. I know that Roddy had written one in his lifetime, but he had even told us at the Comedy Store, he's like, I never even read the thing. So it was definitely ghostwritten. This is about as much information as you'll ever get on Roddy Piper. Please go out and buy it. The proceeds go to his family. They're really great people, and he was truly one of the best people I've ever met. Easily, it's hard to number people, but he's easily in the top 3 people. My grandpa will definitely be in that top 3. Just people that you're lucky to have met because you learned a lot from. And he's one of them, and you should read his book. His life experiences made him a very compassionate man beyond the character, what you wouldn't think. And he was a real mentor to a lot of us, a lot of people.